It's the Juicery Podcast Show. Hey, yo, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Juicery Podcast Show. And this week, it will be the final episode for the TV series from Marvel, Loki. I'm joined today by our mainstays for the podcast. It's Bench and Joms CP.
That's something new.
Ah,
Yeah, welcome back to everyone. I don't need a catchphrase. I'm Bench. Does anyone feel, have you ever felt really good because you're right? And this is the first, I think this is the first time since this year that I felt this way.
oh,
Yeah, we'll know later why am I saying these things. But yeah, I'm right. I'm right to some extent. Then that's very rare for a Marvel franchise. So yeah, welcome back, and we're wrapping this thing up, or are we wrapping this thing up?
yeah.
Yeah, welcome back everyone to our episode 6. Joms?
Yep. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is John ZP, and welcome everyone to the Juicery Podcast. It's episode 6, and we have lots of revelations in store for you guys, as well as lots of Easter eggs, amazing storytelling, and awesome references. So yeah, this episode is really nice. Let's get to it. All right.
What's the title of the episode?
For
This-
all time,
So yeah, for all time, always.
Always.
Yes.
EVA
Yes.
motto.
Very, very apt and very appropriate to the
As we-
series.
So every week we are running at the spoiler territory. Who's gonna do the honors for this week? Is
I
it
just
gonna
said
be
I
me?
don't have a catchphrase, but I've been doing the spoiler warning.
Yeah, you're the spoiler guy.
Okay. Again, we're talking about episode 6 for all time, always. Please give this a chance to see before you listen to us. And this is going to be, if I can compare this to the ending of the other, so this is the third
Series?
Disney
Yeah, third
series,
Marvel Disney Plus series.
right? Okay, so if I can compare, this is one of the best series that we've finished so far. And it's. I think everything will be connected, but this one especially setting up everything. So you have
Yeah.
to see it first.
Yep. Yep.
It's the glue.
Yeah,
It's the glue.
we'll spoil everything. We'll not miss a beat. We'll tell you everything that we saw, and the Joms will tell that to us very slowly,
Very
and
slow.
we'll grind the details.
Indeed.
So you probably need to see this first because you're not going to enjoy this in an audio format. But yeah, but before everything else, before you leave and go to see the episode, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go find us in, where are we again?
Anchor
Spotify.
FM and Spotify. Follow our podcast
Anchor.
on Spotify.
Yeah, find us there. Please visit our Patreon and consider donating
Yep.
or signing up as one of our Patreons.
Yes, we need to feed our families. Please donate.
Yeah, my family haven't eaten for a while now, but they're having fun watching this episode. So please consider putting money into
Yeah.
our
Yeah, you
Patreon.
guys can search us on Google, and we are there. So it's the Juicery Podcast Show. We
Mhm.
rank number 1 for Spotify.
Yeah,
Yep.
you want to sponsor us as well?
Yes.
We're good.
That's
Anyway.
nice. Okay.
Anyway, that's the
we-
spoiler
we can
warning.
start.
Spoiler
Everyone
warning.
that haven't seen it yet has logged off and they're watching it in their very special platform. Okay,
Mhm.
let's start.
Okay. So thank you very much, Bench. Before we start, I want to let you guys know, okay? I want to let you guys know that if you guys, everyone who's listening right now, if you guys plan on continuing on watching Marvel movies, this series is a must watch before watching the other movies. Okay?
Yeah,
Because
Phase 4.
yes, the Phase 4, all of the Phase 4 movies of Marvel Cinematic Universe starts here. This is, I could probably say this is the catalyst where Phase 4 starts. Okay? So this is a really, really awesome episode, you know? Everything revolves around this episode. So yeah, let's start.
But before we start,
Huh?
did we hit some of the predictions that we have from the previous weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So, well, we'll be saying that, or we will be shooting those theories
later.
While we recap the episode.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Before we start, the theories that we have is like, who is behind the TVA? So we have four options, right? We had He Who Remains. We had the Master Loki. We had the popular Kang. And
of course,
we have Miss Minutes.
Infamous.
Yeah, infamous Miss Minutes. And we also have the underdog Agatha Harkness.
No, Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Yeah, just throwing it out there, right?
Yep. So we had a lot of theories, but apparently there are like one close hit and then one solid hit.
Yeah, one full hit.
Yeah, because there have been lots of speculations and rumors out there on Facebook in social media that it's like the King Loki. That's saw this article saying that the one behind TVA might be one Master Loki variant, and he is being controlled or he's being a puppet of Kang himself, right? So, and there's also a theory that it is Kang himself behind the TVA. While we progress this story, while we recap, you guys are gonna find out sooner and in detail. What's it
You'll
about?
find out in detail how am I right.
Yes, yeah, and Miss Minutes, Benji's theory almost smacked up the right shot. Let's start up with our opening credits. The opening credits is a magnificent display of audio montage. This is the first time. I think this is the first time they did it in a Disney Plus series.
It's very apt because we're finishing up a time travel story or like a multiversal story, and the whole audio log was around. It started. Where did it start again?
It's actually like a space sequence, which is like a clear homage to the movie Contact, a 1997 sci-fi film. By Jodie Foster. It begins with a picture of Earth into the known universe expanding and beyond, while we hear different clips, historic speeches and songs, at the same time, we also hear different quotes from our favorite Marvel heroes. Most notably, Captain America's "I can do this all day," and then the other Cap says, "Yeah, I know." So
that's a very apt example because those are two people, those are two variants talking with each other.
Exactly.
And I hope they added the next part where he saw the America's ass, and I have a theory that somehow there's a Captain America that's his nexus point is he doesn't have America's ass and he became bad.
Oh my gosh.
Or What If. So look out for that.
Yeah, we might see that on What If on August 11. Guys, August 11, Ooh. What If, Disney Plus. Watch
Less than a month.
Yep. Anyway, let's continue on. So we hear a lot of lines from our Marvel heroes. And we also hear some famous quotes from real life figures, We got Neil Armstrong's One Step for Man. Yeah. We have Greta Thunberg. We got Malala. We got Nelson Mandela. We got Maya Angelou's I Will Rise. And we
Luther King. Yeah.
We also have like a quote from, I think it might be Carl Sagan. We think of time as a one-way motion.
Oh, no. It's not.
Is that's not Carl Sagan?
That's not Carl Sagan. I forgot his name, but it's a lecture from a professor about timelines or how time passes. Oh. So it's not exactly Carl Sagan's billion of years ago, not like that. So it's an actual lecture. It's not from TV or a content.
And then thanks for that, Bench. And then there's also some background music, from while they're dictating those lines. So we got Beethoven's For Elise, very brief, and we also have Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. The most notable here's an Easter egg, guys. The most notable of the music entwined in that sequence was the Harry James Band's version of It's Been a Long, Long Time, And where did we hear this song? This is a very familiar song which we hear during the last moment of Avengers Endgame, where Steve Rogers was dancing with Peggy Carter. Yeah. This was also heard on Steve's apartment when Nick Fury. Yeah, this song was when Nick Fury was injured, right? Nick Fury was injured by the Winter Soldier, and then he hid in Steve's apartment. This was the song that was playing in Steve's apartment. Awesome.
Steve Rogers started all of this.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying? For him to be happy, he started all of this shit.
Yes, he was actually the first one who met face to face with its variant, right? In the Marvel Cinematic Universe. No one has ever did that.
No, like Tony Stark met his counterpart.
No, he met his dad. He met his dad. He didn't meet his dad.
He met his variant. But he was dressed up as a field agent.
Yes, but he didn't communicate with his counterpart.
Yeah, he saw his face.
So Steve Rogers was the only.
He knows that alone.
Yeah, he knows. Loki does. So anyway, this is an awesome audio sequence, opening sequence for Loki. Okay, so
I pity those who didn't put their subtitles on because they will have no idea.
Yes, those were awesome lines. Very very relatable to what's happening and what's going to happen. It seems like a merging of different universes, merging of different thoughts and consciousness, and aligning
was
all
it a
together.
merging or like a splitting? Because by the end of that sequence, we saw two universes.
Was it two universes?
Yeah, it's two, like intertwined or like on top.
It's galaxies, yeah, galaxies.
It's now saying that from those thoughts, something converged or something split up. Because we're now in the territory of multiverse.
But
we understand.
But the timeline hasn't split yet, right? The timeline hasn't split. There was like a fine line first.
Well, yeah, this is an intro. I don't think this is part of the whole story yet, but it's just preparing for that.
Oh yeah, you have a point. Yeah.
From what we understand this is the setup for a multiverse, because from the start of Avengers or this full franchise, we don't have a multiverse yet. Mm-hmm. There's no fallout to it. But as soon as Infinity War started, that's where we start seeing glimpses of a separate timeline. And then this might be a preparation for that. And I think they did it really well since they already have established timeline, and then this is where we can break it up. Same with what's happened with comics. Like it didn't start as a multiverse right away. It picked up before converging into something else.
Yeah, for the recent Marvel comics, they usually have one main timeline, and then there are other writers who did like different stories, and the editors probably thought that this might not be canon, but they want to keep it, so they created different universes. So
the X-Men universe also do that, right?
Yeah. Well, we have, what do you call this? The 616, we have the Ultimate Timeline, we have the 2099 timeline, we got the 1602 timeline. If you guys aren't familiar with the 1602, it's like Marvel heroes emerging during the 1600s. So, and we also have the 2099, as I mentioned earlier, like, the future, ancestors, so descendants. It's like descendants, or like, what do you call this? Spin-offs of present day teams with different characters. We have Doom 2099. But anyway, going back. So we see the timeline. We see the universe after that great montage. We see the universe, and then we see the sacred timeline on the horizon, on the background. And then finally, we slowly zoom in to a big rock where the Citadel at the end of time resides or is situated, So this is where Loki and Sylvie went after enchanting Alioth, So basically Alioth is like a big portal gate, And then, which is true, but like after defeating Alioth, it opens up. And do you think that, guys, that the Citadel at the end of time is really inside Alioth, or it's just a portal? What do you guys think?
Yeah, could be a portal for me. It's when he was enchanted.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Ben?
They open it. Yeah, they open it.
It doesn't make sense because like the first time, I think this is the only point where I kind of don't agree with how it was placed. But they enchanted Alioth, and then just to get memories, but they're exactly at the point of or the actual place suddenly. So I
Yeah,
mean,
we,
it could be like a very expanded explanation that, actually, since he is a temporal being, you can go inside and into places.
Maybe
But
he
yeah,
didn't look at the memories. Maybe she enchanted Elias to mind control her to open up a portal.
But yeah, that didn't reflected in the story or somehow.
Well, yeah, maybe they could have expounded on that. But yeah. So anyway, we also see here after the long shot of the Citadel at the end of time, we zoom in towards Sylvie and Loki traversing.
walking.
Yeah, traversing the rocks, going to the entrance of the Citadel. I also just like to know that if you guys noticed the top part of the Citadel, the glowing yellow part area of the structure, it strangely resembles the head of, call this the pruning stick.
Color, right?
Yeah, the color, but it kind of looks like it. I've heard, I've saw some sources saying that it looks reminiscent of the pruning stick. Anyway, when they
Was it really called the pruning stick? I forgot what it's
I don't know.
Alright.
You mentioned like there's a term for it. You were the one who mentioned that there was
In the comics, it's called the red cannon.
yeah, the red cannon.
Something.
So yeah,
Pruning stick.
the pruning stick. I don't know. So anyway, we enter the Citadel, the Dark Palace, or the Dark Citadel.
Yeah, I like the camera movement here. It's like shifting,
exactly,
rotating.
And there's also there's this brief conversation with Loki and Sylvie.
Before they enter.
that was like Loki was saying, "You're not gonna barge in quickly," something like that. No, I want to think it over. And then Sylvie said that you're not gonna talk me out of it, something like that. You're not gonna say anything. No, not really. So there's, this is a moment where both of their behavior suddenly change. Or like they don't know what to do right now because they are almost at the end of their journey. And at most people or most individuals that figure out that they're almost at the end of the journey, they don't know what to do next, right?
Yeah, it's like a dog that was finally able to catch its own tail.
And then after that, now what? Yeah, exactly. They don't know how to react. They don't know how to proceed. So upon entering, we finally, while looking around, they're suddenly greeted by a familiar face. Hey y'all.
Yeah.
This is like a more ominous, like, chaos, like not the sweet one that we.
Yeah. It's like a big boom.
Really
Southern
sweet before.
accent.
Yeah.
But this one is very ominous. Like, okay, so this is now my nightmare.
Yeah. Like out of nowhere, it's like a boom. Like the thunderous boom. And they're like, hey y'all.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, Miss Minutes appears.
She's everywhere, right?
Yeah, she suddenly
Like
appears.
omnipresent.
Yeah, and she congratulates them for a long journey.
So I think this is more related to what's his name again in Willy Wonka, the person that's following some sort of like a shadowy bad guy, but eventually actually working for Willy Wonka. I forgot his name.
I totally forgot that.
It will come to me
The
later.
dwarf guy, the dwarf? Yeah, the dwarf-looking guy.
No.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So it looks like that. Like from what it looks like, Miss Minutes seems to be controlling everything, but their conversation is around here's a devil's here's a devil's offer. You can turn back and you can coexist within a single timeline. But it's very obvious. It's not delivered the same way from the what do you call that? The training materials.
Oh yeah.
The propaganda materials.
Yeah, propaganda materials.
It's not as pleasing as that, but so it seems like she's really insisting on you take my offer or not.
She looks really sus here. Really
her
sus.
face.
Her face was like she isn't her jolly face. It's like not
her pretentious looking face anymore.
Yes.
This is her real face.
Yep. And true enough, we are also greeted here with the revelation on who is really behind the TVA. And you guessed it, guys. We guessed it. He who remains. But it's not the he who remains that we all see or we all know in the Marvel comics. It's something
that
more.
Was an old old guy in the comics, right?
But we will we will tell you guys later. We will be divulging it later. So anyway, we got that right. He remains. Woohoo!
You got that right.
Yeah.
I think everyone got it right.
Yep.
So I got the name now, Arthur Slugworth. So he's like the shadowy guy that was following everyone, but eventually found out that he's actually working with
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Yep.
you did your
Going back, Miss Minutes mentions to the pair that they have impressed He Who Remains. Well, basically, He Who Remains is the one who created and controls everything. He said that in the end, it is only He Who Remains. So he said that you guys have gone this far and has impressed him. And now he's going to make a few creative adjustments. The He Who Remains wants to make a few adjustments and is offering them a deal. Something like a very good offer to be reinserted to the sacred timeline. If he wants to, Miss Minutes is enticing Loki, saying things like, do you want to defeat the Avengers? Done. Kill Thanos? Done. Which is what Loki has been aspiring for internally all this time. To live and to defeat the Avengers and Thanos, to live his life as he wants to, to exist in the timeline together with Sylvie without any interruptions,
Yeah.
Where did they have this talk? Are they in the elevator or
Not yet.
They just entered.
Yeah.
I think it's after panning, the camera panning around the whole first floor entrance.
So
there were a lot of cracks. There were a lot of golden cracks all over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which reminds me, the castle with the cracks. It
reminds us of kintsugi.
Yes.
So it's a Japanese practice of putting things together using lacquer that is gold.
Yeah, gold,
It's not, I don't think
silver.
it's actual gold. It's just a lacquer, and it's very pleasing to the eye because you highlight the cracks, but as well as make a very useful thing.
Yep.
But if you look at this closely, it's just marbled gold. It's not really inside the material. But yeah, it gets the point. That
it
this
looks
is something
something
that's
like.
broken and then put together again.
Yeah, it kind of emphasizes like everything being put back together, looking better than ever, something like that. So yeah, so Miss Minutes, going back, Miss Minutes tries to persuade them on a win-win situation. Like Sylvie doesn't need to go on a run anymore. Looking forward to happy memories. Miss Minutes really persuades him, but in vain because Sylvie snaps back into reality. And then it says
the offer for Sylvie is kind of the short end of the stick there. Like Loki's bargain was, you'll win everything.
Get the
just
throne of Asgard.
For Sylvie, you'll have a normal life. Well, she haven't really, so that might be a different outlook for her. But
that's her desire. She wants to have everything back.
But it's like the resolution of her journey is more pleasing than anything else. If you're just offering a life of something that's boring, so she should probably pursue more. So I don't think this is more on them getting to say yes, but more on testing their resolve. So going back to that Arthur Starkworth reference, this is the same motive for the person. So he was posing as a spy, and then eventually know that it's just there to see the character of Charlie and his grandpa.
Yeah.
But so yeah, moving back to the main point, it's not too pleasing for Sylvie. So that's why she probably said no.
Yeah. One point though that I could think of is Miss Minutes is trying to instill some influence on them. So, like they mentioned, I saw some one article saying that Miss Minutes was planting seeds on Loki's mind to make sure that he
from the start.
Revolts and rebels and leads himself towards this point. So saying that if you do something, if you disobey, the multiversal war will the chaos and disorder will happen. She keeps on repeating that to Loki in the previous episodes. So she's now sowing the rewards where Loki and Sylvie are now in the Citadel. So,
Reaping?
What? Sorry?
Reaping the
yeah, reaping the rewards. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Is that really that big of a deal? Because the only time that we saw them interact was in the propaganda part, in the training materials. I agree that it somehow gave him an idea of that this is what will happen if the multiversal war happens again. But I don't think that's a big.
Yeah, it's a subtle. It just happened in one scene, but yeah, it's a big. It's a subtle.
Yeah, maybe seeing Miss Minutes again triggered.
Yes,
yes. This is some more ominous Miss Minutes.
Yes, true that. But yeah, even though Miss Minutes tries to persuade them, they could have just said yes that time, but no, they still said no. But even though they said no, some idea has been planted on both of them already. Loki has already when you see Loki's expression when Miss Minutes was mentioning like defeating the Avengers, defeating Thanos, having the throne of Asgard and the Infinity Gauntlet, you can see the look on his face that he
wanted it.
Yes, he wanted that. So the seed was planted already. The seed was planted.
Maybe on that is on the part that they can coexist in one timeline. I think that's more pleasing to him than the other ones. It's like I don't know. I think this is a changed Loki now. It's no longer the Loki that we had in the first episode. He's more. He's less of an asshole.
Probably. But we can't discount the fact that, his primal instinct is to still be, to rule over people. Yeah. He has, maybe he's changed. Loki. Maybe he's changed.
When you get to the end, you might think twice about that. Because like at the end, I don't want to go there yet, but it's going to be a bit of a different reasoning for him why he is suddenly against Sylvie.
Yeah, true.
Let's
continue on. Okay. So, yeah, Sylvie and Loki disagrees with Miss Minutes, saying that they'll write their own destinies there. So Miss Minutes fades away. I was about to say fade away from existence, but it's not yet.
Probably travel back to somewhere, right?
Yep.
The omnibus Miss Minutes.
Yes. So after that, okay, so cutscene. Okay, now we go back to the TVA. As we all know, Mobius on the last episode used the tempad to go back to the TVA and fix whatever needs fixing there, to tell the truth to all the people, right? So here, back in the TVA, we see Judge Ravonna Renslayer downloading some files on her tempad, trying to fix some case files, and then she notices the rings on the table, with a mug where Mobius usually puts his mug, which is very, she becomes nostalgic and thinks about it, but maybe she feels bad about pruning Mobius, so, and then Miss Minutes suddenly appears again, and then
he's where Miss Minutes jumped to.
Yep. And apologized for the delay and says that all files have been downloaded to the tempad. But to her Ravonna's surprise, she said that those were not the files she requested, and then Miss Minutes confirms that they're not. They're not the files that you wanted. But I think he, maybe referring to He Who Remains, thinks that it would be useful to her. Then Miss Minutes disappears while the judge says who. So she never got an answer, right? So something ominous again, some agenda going on this scene, So we actually don't know specifically. We might be assuming that the person that Miss Minutes is referring to is He Who Remains, but it might not be him. I have some theories. This might be, if you guys are familiar with the Kang variant named Immortus, which Ravonna has allied himself with in the comics.
So they have a romantic something in the comics?
Yeah. Ravonna was supposed to be like a love interest.
Yeah. That's why we have this Kang connection at first. Like at the first episode, knowing Ravonna is here, Kang the Conqueror is probably here. She won't be missing here. Or he won't be missing here.
And most likely Immortus would also be there. So, yep. So anyway, going back to the Citadel, So let's see Loki and Sylvie go around, looking around the area. They see 4 statues. One of them has been broken. The hall, the area looks abandoned. Loki even comments that is he who remains still even alive.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere,
he was dusting off one of the statues.
Yeah. It seems like nobody has touched it in a very long time. They don't have a housekeeper.
Yeah, but it looks like a battle has happened there. Seeing that.
But why only the one statue?
We
don't know. You want to think of a scenario?
It's just telling us that some kind of battle happened.
Yeah, there was some kind of a scuffle here. There was some kind of a scuffle.
They're not actually the first one to be in that place.
Maybe. Yeah, true. Yeah. So while they're going around looking in that hall, the elevator suddenly operates.
Yeah.
And then this elevator opens, and lo and behold, we have there Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors as He Who Remains. Awesome actor.
He's cast already for
he has been
upcoming movie.
Yes, he has already been cast as Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man Quantumania. But this is a real surprise for me, knowing that he has been here in the series very early, or here in the lore very early. He's been cast as Kang the Conqueror, but in Loki, he is not the same person as he was cast.
He credited as, because like Kang is not mentioned anywhere.
He is not mentioned anywhere. In the credits, he is credited as He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. Yeah.
Yes. So
even his minutes referred to him as He Who Remains, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And he's very candid. His portrayal of He Who Remains is not the same as the old guy in the comics. He's very candid. He's very casual. It's very nice. His portrayal of He Who Remains is so awesome. He's so refreshing. So
the original He Who Remains is an old guy or the last TVA agent. So he's not a Kang in the comics.
Yes, he's totally different character.
And the one that we saw here as a variant of Kang or He Who Remains is more inclined to be Immortus than an actual Kang that is villainous at all.
Yes, the least probably. So, but he candidly mentions as well that the creepy moniker or the creepy name of He Who Remains. He says to the two that she still calls me that. But I like it. The name it has certain ring to it. But basically that may not be his real name. But he lets Miss Minutes call him that because he likes it. So he invites him over, both Loki and Sylvie. He invites him over to the elevator and accompanies them to the office. But we will be talking about that probably later. In the elevator, actually, in the elevator scene, Jonathan Majors, or He Who Remains, his name's too long. How do we coin him?
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, okay. Jonathan Majors mentions to them that, you guys are disappointment. I'm just a man of flesh and blood, something like that. Which
he says this really
casually,
conversationally.
Yeah, very casually.
It's very cookie about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. It's like everything that has happened now is very serious, and then we get to the point of the final boss is this guy.
Yeah, far different than Thanos, or far different than how Thanos behaves. If you see Thanos is very serious, he coins different quotes, and this guy is kooky. He's very casual. He's very candid, and you wouldn't see him as a villain in this. In how he brings himself, how he composes himself. So he says that he's flesh and blood, and Sylvie remarks that makes him easier to kill, which she probably does quickly with a stroke of of dagger
Tried,
or
She tried.
machete. She tried, but surprisingly, he who remains dematerializes in front of her and then teleports
Transferred.
behind. Yeah, transferred behind her. And then Sylvie attacks her again, and then he teleports again. So why? How does he do that? Is it his powers? We'll find out later. He's actually more advanced. His skills are more advanced than the normal Tempad. But we will be delving into that later. Okay. So are we going for the break right now?
Yeah, we could go with the break.
Yeah. Let's go with a couple of minutes of break because we still have a lot to discuss.
Exactly. We still have a lot of discussions regarding the second half of the episode.
Yep.
So
Epic finale for this series.
Yeah.
Eh?
Season
Marks?
1.
We're
Okay,
not doing good.
we'll be seeing you in a few. We're
Yep.
gonna have our mid break.
Yep. So awesome.
Way to go, Tic Tac!
That's hate much.
Wakanda forever!
Now, you wouldn't have heard of me.
Let me put you on hold.
Dance off, bro! He's a friend from work!
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
I'll show you ferocity.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
We have a
We're gonna jump on that spaceship and get out of here.
No,
Wanna come?
it's you. It's bigger. There was an idea. That's my secret. I'm always time is the true enemy of us all. We think of time as a one-way.
How dare they? My dream.
We have fought for the right to experience peace.
Motivated by women throughout the world.
What is grief if not love persevering?
Open your eyes.
All right. We're back, and let's continue to the second part of our recap and reaction.
Okay, episode 6, Loki, for all time, always. Before we took our break, we had Loki and Sylvie in the elevator with He Who Remains. Okay, then we switch. Okay, we switch to back to the TVA with Ravonna Renslayer rummaging through some stuff, checking her briefcase and files. And then there was a knock at the door. Yeah, she says, "I'm not to be disturbed," something like that. And then enter Mobius.
Enter our boy, Mobius, back in TVA.
Yeah.
With a vengeance.
Mobius with a vengeance.
With
So,
the
Not
same
even
suit.
a wow here. Like, wow.
yeah. We were hoping for that wow. But sadly,
Wow.
I'm back. He's back. Very, very candid display of Mobius there. And well, actually, Ravonna was not surprised because she said that if there's anyone who would come back from the void, it would be him.
Yeah.
And then Mobius quips,
She's expecting him.
Yep, he's actually expecting him. And then Mobius quips, one man's void is another man's piece of cake. With a time stick in hand, Well,
I finally got that right.
Yep. Time stick. Okay, I searched for it. A prune stick is actually
it's
called the time stick. Okay,
It's not pruning stick.
it's not a
Prune
pruning stick. Although the pruning stick has a certain
It will
ring
not
to it.
catch on.
Anyway, so Mobius turns on his time stick, and then Renslayer says that, are you gonna prune me? Then Mobius says, "Oh no, I'm going to do. Well, that's a good idea, but I want to do something more." Ravonna.
When you say it like that,
Wow.
when you say it like that with Mobius
The
sticking
stick.
on it.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to do something more. Wow.
No. Well, that's
50 Shades of Morbius.
yeah. Well, that is Ryan's area of expertise, not us. Okay. So
Be
yeah,
careful with it because we're going to be in some sort of a list again.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be stricken out. Anyway, so
The stick in his hand. What did he say?
what? What?
With the time stick in his hand.
I'm gonna do more something. I thought about it, but I'm gonna do something more with it. I don't know.
Okay, and the stick is now glowing,
Yes.
turned
And
on.
recharge.
Pound chicka pound pound. Anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah. So with our conversation, Ravona reaffirms the choice that she made. I had to do it for the mission, And then Mobius says that, what mission? The TVA is a lie. We are all variants. What mission would that be? Mobius says that the mission isn't real, and then Ravona refuses to believe what she's being presented with, and then with one quick motion, she pulls her tempad out and summons D9T, arrest Mobius or prune him again. But to her surprise, Mobius says that it won't work this time because she finally knows her secret. And what would that be? And then he shows the pen, the Franklin D. Roosevelt High School pen, to her. That he once questioned Ravona, and Ravona mentioned that it was a keepsake from her favorite analyst. Then jump over to a different scene on the sacred timeline, which is in Fremont 2018. Is that right? Yeah, Fremont 2018. With B-15 luring Hunter D9T and a troop of Minutemen to lure them to a place, and then the next scene cuts to B-15 standing in front of an office with a cup full of the FDR high school pens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then D9T enters the room and then was supposed to arrest or prune B-15 when B-15 says, hold up, we gotta talk, something's gonna go down here. And then suddenly Ravona, someone shows up, and it is Ravona Renslayer, but not her. Yeah. Surprisingly, this is a variant of Ravona Renslayer with the name of Rebecca. It's on the plaques. It was never said, but she's named Rebecca Torminate. I don't know. Yeah.
Is she the principal? Because she has a plaque.
Yep. Yeah, she seems to be the principal or vice principal. I don't know. Which surprises D9T. He says that judge. But who are you? And then the variant says, "Who are you? What are you doing in my school?" Something like that. We finally find out that the analyst is a variant of Ravona. So this shocks the hunter D9T, and then B-15 begs to have a talk with D9T with this revelation in mind. So yeah, big surprising turnout of events. We go back to Sorry.
No, you mentioned we found the analyst.
Yeah, this is the analyst.
Oh, this is a variant of Rebecca. We're sharing now to everyone, or B-15 is now sharing to everyone that we have a variant. Everyone is a variant.
Yeah, exactly. The analyst, quote unquote, the analyst that Ravona Renslayer was referring to was not an analyst, but in fact her variant.
Yeah, I think it's just the pen or being in being a principal in FDR is just a throwaway. I don't think she even mentioned a favorite analyst. She just mentioned that this is from some analyst that she had, because she has many. But yeah, it's more on just proving that even the person that we're working with is a variant. You're a variant. Coming from that last episode that she got the memory back from Sylvie.
Or she's just saying that, maybe Ravona knows that she has a variant and she just plucks it out from that timeline.
She's a true believer.
Because
no. I think this Brian is right. She's a true believer now. She drank the Kool-Aid. Everything that you will say to her is not going to affect her in any way. Yeah. Even though you're right, I know that this is a bigger deal than me. It's a very culty attitude towards the situation. Like, I know what's happening is not real, but I'll find someone who's like the being that is controlling everything. It's like it's no longer, and like the bigger plan is to get everyone cleansed of this notion, or like on board with B15 that, hey, you're a variant, everything that we know is fake. But to Rebecca or to Ravonna,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. Like, there's a bigger deal than us.
Yeah. So it is true that Ravonna does not know who really is in charge, right?
Yeah, same. Still, at this point, she doesn't know. And then that's where like the details or like the files that Miss Min has provided her at the first part, like, you read this up. This is not what you were looking for, but you will find this very interesting because the guy upstairs likes this one.
Mhm.
So she doesn't really complain about it.
Yes, true that. Anyway, so we cut back to Renslayer's office. Okay, so Mobius now telling Ravonna that everybody's ready to hear the truth. You know, that the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, the most powerful force in the universe, is a lie.
Yeah.
But
not all of them are created by the timekeeper.
yes, they're all variants. But you know, like we mentioned, Ravonna still being very zealous to what the person behind TVA stands for, says that this, it might be a lie, but it is a necessary lie. You know, they created that person created the TVA for a purpose. You know, even if they don't know what purpose is that, they have to uphold it. You know, it's a necessary one. Mobius mentions that, oh, no. What kind of glory, what kind of purpose would it be, or good purpose would it be, if they prune the people and then find out what horrors await them at the void? You know, we have there the big Alioth devouring every kind of energy and matter. You know, there's nothing, this is a very strong point of Mobius. There is nothing necessary about that. And then Ravonna mentions to Mobius that if they didn't prune the timeline, what would happen? Chaos, disorder, death, you know? And then Mobius says free will, which is very, very apt, knowing that, you know, everybody on the TVA doesn't know that they're variants. If they find out they're variants, chaos ensues. But
Ravonna just answered, "Fuck your free will."
Yeah, exactly. You know, the only person who gets free will is the one on top. That's how you see how adamant Ravonna is with her ideology on the TVA, or what the TVA stands for. So
she's in too deep already.
Yeah, you know, like, she's in too deep. She doesn't know when to stop. Yeah. Ravonna keeps on packing her briefcase, and then Mobius reminisces what the friendship that they had, you know, friends across time, allies through the end, until the end, and suddenly really feeling betrayed with what happened. Now, after this, the discussion on who betrayed who comes to mind, you know. Ravonna lashes out, you know, rejects Mobius's accusation and throws it back at him. Mobius threw away their eons or millennia of friendship for a couple of Lokis because he had a sudden change of point of view. You know, Mobius pleads that they can't take away people's free will. Ravonna doesn't see that. Ravonna isn't budging, which resorts to Mobius activating his time stick and attacking Ravonna. But since
this is why we know that Ravonna is why Ravonna is the judge and not.
Yes, Mobius is just an analyst. So
he was beaten by a woman.
Yeah, he gets knocked down. He gets knocked down by Ravonna, you know, a little bit.
Ravonna is more of the experienced one. Like, we know she's a hunter before, so she has to train.
Yeah.
There's
Even
no shame in
Mobius
getting beat.
Exactly.
Getting beat by her.
She is a very experienced hunter, and Mobius surrenders and says, you know, prune me. But Ravonna, having a change of heart, did not prune him, and she leaves the door through the time door that she activated. But before that, Mobius says, "Where are you gonna go?" And I don't know if it's what she meant by it, but she says in search of free will. It's up to you guys to discern what she means by that. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah,
it's
previously she said that the free will is the
Yeah.
only one that has free will is the
it's
guy in charge.
straightforward.
So maybe he's saying that she's in search of the person who has the only is the one who is allowed the free will.
Yeah, there's no other reading of it, and I think this will connect later on the discussion with He Who Remains, where he's actually going to, and that the name Rebecca Tormine is something that is really connected to Ravonna looking for a variant of Kang and then being together. So it might be related to that.
Yep.
Eventually we'll know what happened or like where we should go. Probably in the movie or in another form.
Yep. So this is the last time we see of Ravonna Renslayer, right?
In this episode.
In this series, but this might not be the last time we see her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So yeah. Again, awesome portrayal of Gugum Batharao. Nice. Her acting, everything is so awesome. Kudos to her. Are we gonna switch back to the Citadel, guys? Are we ready? Are we ready for the awesome part?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay. So after the long elevator trip, Loki and Sylvie is presented with a very, very big office room where He Who Remains resides. And he said that, they had a long and very painful journey to get to where they are right now. And if you notice, the variants were Loki and Sylvie were very confused. They don't know what's going on with how He Who Remains is acting towards them. Very casual.
Toy with it. It looks like he's expecting them.
Exactly.
Will be revealed later. Why is he expecting them?
Yeah, he's very welcoming. He's very welcoming for someone who was trying to hide himself from the variants, right? And he also, with this, he convinced the pair.
Offered papers.
He convinces the pair that they can't kill him, even though multiple attempts has been done with from Sylvie. He pulls out a stack of papers detailing all the dialogue that they had prior to this moment.
This is the same set.
Yeah.
That we have in the first one that where Loki need to sign up.
Yes.
This is everything that's said, but for this version of him, it's still ongoing.
Yes.
Like for Loki, when he was entered in TVA, that's already done. But for him, it's still ongoing, and that's where he knows where this is going to.
Yep. Yeah, this is still ongoing. With that, he mentions that he knows what's going to happen. He knows what happens, and he's seen it all. He's witnessed both Loki's and Sylvie's actions, everything that they've done, ever said, ever schemed. And he even mentioned that moment in Lamentis. The one that they shared by the Crater Lake. The one where the Nexus event started. If you guys...
the sharp spike.
Yes, the sharp spike.
Timeline.
Yep. He even knows things. He even mentions that he knows things that the TVA does not, which means that he has a greater knowledge on what's happening. And this is also turning point because it is revealed that everything that they've been doing, all the things that Loki and Sylvie has been doing, killing those hunters, being transported to Lamentis, in Roxcart, everything to the Void, enchanting Alioth, all of that, everything is managed, everything is planned by He Who Remains.
To that point.
Yep, he paved the road going to them. So it means that they weren't Loki and Sylvie wasn't doing it at their own accord. It means that everything they've been doing is still according to someone else's plan, which infuriates both of them again. Remember during the first episode when Mobius mentions to Loki that Loki mentions that he is always rebellious. He lives by his own ways,
Right.
but
his own story.
Yeah, he writes his own story, but Mobius contradicts him, saying that everything he does was already written, which makes him angry as well. So this is the same instance that the revelation of Loki and Sylvie still following someone else's orders or someone else's writings in the future, and this makes them really mad. This angers them. To cement the fact, he again pulls out handful of papers revealing what will happen. So the first time He Who Remains provides some paper, some documents to them, it was the past. Now this time he lays out the script on what's gonna happen next.
That's also how he knows where to teleport. Like
Yes.
he programmed his tempad. Like if there's going to be an attack, it's already programmed to move away from it. That's how he is moving away from the barrage of slashes that he's getting.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's more on, again, going back to the initial theme of this, that Loki doesn't like knowing that he didn't plan anything, or like he's moving to his own accord. But this is again to that point that even after going to TVA, is still not moving to a path that he
really wants.
Decided on.
Yes.
Yeah.
The mere fact that this seems like he's being controlled. His future was being controlled. It doesn't sit well with him.
And Dick will know in the dialogue as well later on why the path for that was forged for them. Why this guy wants him to end up in their office.
So yeah, continuing on, Sylvie snapping out of what's happening, all the big revelation being presented to them, questions why they were even there. What's the reason? And then He Who Remains gently mentions, you can't get to the end until you've been changed by the journey. This stuff, it needs to happen. They have to know what's going on. Before
This is where we get the backstory now.
Yes.
The overall story.
Yes.
With the cool graphics.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did he create that? He has magical powers, right?
Yeah. No, he has a modified tempad. The one in his.
And an advanced tempad.
Mhm.
Like he can project this animations of himself.
Yep.
Finally, didn't use a miss minutes to.
Well,
show this.
it's a more serious tone, so you can't really use the propaganda materials again.
Well,
We know the backstory now, so
but before that, we have to do a starter. He Who Remains mentions to Loki that he totally understands why Loki is objecting. He has moral objections to what the TVA does, and he tries to provide a disclaimer. And he accepts and acknowledges that his methods might be deceptive, but the mission was never deceptive. The means is different from the ends. That's what he's trying to say. He's saying that without him and the TVA, everything goes down to shit. And then in this moment, Loki mentions, I really like this conversation between them. Loki mentions to them, so what are you afraid of? And he says, He remains calmly and scareful. He's kind of very timidly mentioned he's afraid of himself, which bewilders both of them, both Sylvie and Loki.
That's the time he explained.
He explains it.
Explain that it's very narcissist.
He mentions that. Well, Sylvie mentions, "Who are you? Who are you? Why are you afraid of yourself?" He has been called many things: a ruler, he who remains, a conqueror. Bing, 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 a conqueror. Which gives we have a Kang connection over there. And
Say the Kang because I see the guy.
Yeah. Well, he's not Kang itself, he's not the Kang person, but he's a variant of.
He's also been called a jerk.
Yeah, a jerk. Yep. But he mentioned that who he is isn't as simple as naming him with something. So with this one, he presents a very, very nice CGI representation on what's happening. So basically, a variant of himself who is a scientist from Earth on the 31st century discovered that there were multiverses. on top of each other, stacked on top of each other. You know, there's like a different, there's a multiverse, you know?
Science.
Yes. And
Pure science.
pure science. And along these lines, several versions of himself also know this, you know, also discovered this at the same time. In the effort of sharing knowledge of its technology, the variants started making contact. You know, they travel to the different multiverses and talk to each other, communicate, and help improve their own. You know, this is more of like the peaceful versions of himself. But of course, not everyone, not all variants have the same motive. You know, while others strive for peace, his other variants think that different multiverses or other universes means more worlds to conquer. Hence, the multiversal war started. More different versions of themselves vying for control of the other universe. And then the peace between realities erupted into, you know, a full-time war. And each variant trying to preserve their own. And because of this, the future or the end goal of this, or the end effect of this, would be the elimination of everything, the end of everything. Now, this is where the dogma ends. This is where the truth separates from the dogma. Okay, so Sylvie mentioned that, and the timekeepers entered and saved us all, something like that, right? But it's far more different. The truth is far more different. The first variant, in reality, I think that the first variant was him, right? I think.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He
Yeah.
kind of slipped that he is the first, like he addressed himself as the first variant.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the
on that
first
scene.
the first variant, which is a scientist, encountered a creature that was created from all tears of reality. You know, a creature that they are both familiar with, which is Alioth, an entity that can consume time and space itself. You know, he harnessed it, he used it for his own good. He weaponized it and ended the multiversal war. What I thought about this was he tried to kill all of his variants. You know, he tried to kill all of his variants and tried to maintain a sacred timeline. If a different timeline branches out, a possibility of a different He Who Remains, a variant of He Who Remains appears, which might be much more vicious than him.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, they have, you know, he doesn't care about the other people. He's concerned about his own variant appearing in the timeline and figuring out this whole shenanigan and disrupting everything that he's worked on, you know? And because of that, you know, what he did, he prunes timelines, manages a flow of time, preventing further branches. Because of that, he created the Time Variance Authority so that it won't happen again, so that there won't be any He Who Remains variants from ever appearing and disrupting the timeline and making another war. He says that this was the only way. What do you guys think? You know, do you think that what he's saying was the means justifies the end? What do you guys think?
Yeah, because he's been there since the start and everything was working well. Even though there are a lot of canon fathers for Alioth to eat.
Yeah, in short, it's just he's trying to justify what he did and like keeping away from the war because you know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the greater scheme of things, he did this all because he knows himself as the starter of this war and all. So yeah, it's a bit justified if you look at it, but still you're taking away free will from people.
Exactly. So he also mentions that he's the one keeping everything in check, keeping everyone safe, you know? So he's trying to acknowledge himself as the lesser evil. And if they think that if Loki and Sylvie thinks what he's doing right now is evil, he warns that his variants are far worse than him. So yeah, he also mentions that he's the one that's keeping them safe, you know? And acknowledges that he might be the lesser evil in this scheme. And if they think that what he did was evil, you know, Loki and Sylvie thinks that he is evil, wait till they find out his variants. His variants are far worse than him. So
I think he knows himself too much that he has no ulterior motives, just to keep the timeline at peace.
mhm.
And his other variants are just distractive,
Yes,
causing
yes.
distraction all over.
True that. True that. And they were presented also with what Jonathan Majors mentioned to them, provides him with two options: stifling order, which what's happening right now, or cataclysmic chaos. You know, if they kill he who remains, something far worse will replace him, and it will not be good. He's been through every scenario. He's been through every timeline, and he knows and presents to them that this is the only way, and this is how the TVA works. Without it, chaos will ensue.
Yes.
So yeah, but even through all of that, Sylvie still mentions that it's a lie. Yeah.
She's not convinced.
Yeah, she's not convinced. And Loki even interjects, even adds up like, will you be continuing to prune innocent timelines? No? This is where He Who Remains counters and says, no, you guys will. So he presents the two options. No? First off, he tells Loki and Sylvie that they can kill him and destroy everything, resulting in an infinite number of He Who Remain variants who wants to destroy every other universe. Or they can, both Sylvie and Loki can run the TVA themselves. He's willing to give up the control and power because he's tired.
Relinquishing his control over TVA.
Yes.
Like, this is the main offer, and this is goes back to the Willy Wonka reference.
Mm-hmm.
You have Miss Minutes as the one who gives the test if they're still viable heirs to the throne, and then you have this actual conversation that they are being groomed to be the next one to take up the job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a full circle. Like, they've been prepared for this, and then they now have to make that decision.
Yep. So yeah, this is a very, very tough decision. Kill He Who Remains, expose the timeline, the secret timeline, everything goes to shit. Or they can be in charge and lead the TVA however they want. They can tell everybody the truth, but they tell the reason why they're doing it. This is a good option for them, actually. But even though the options are still presented, Sylvie still refuses.
Yeah.
She still wants that comeuppance that, like, you did this to me when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still kill you.
Yeah, and this is where He Who Remains put his foot down. Like, grow up, Sylvie. It wasn't personal. It was practical. You need to grow up. But before them act self-righteous, He Who Remains reminded both of them they also done terrible and horrific acts.
Yeah, they're
villains.
not clean.
Yeah.
They're not clean themselves.
At least this time, they can do it for good reason. That's what they said. And then here comes the big part. Suddenly, He Who Remains gets distraught. They
feel some disturbance.
Yes, he felt some disturbance. Which we figure out that He Who Remains doesn't necessarily know everything. He left out one small detail. He fibbed. He said that he only knows things up to a certain point, and this point is a threshold in time, which just passed a few seconds ago when he mentioned that. After this, he doesn't know what's gonna happen. This is unknown. This is the end of time. So he's actually scared of what's gonna happen. He doesn't know if he's gonna get killed or not. So
there were some theories that the background sound was comparable to the sound in the Scarlet Witch, the WandaVision.
Oh, really?
TV series.
Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah. When they overlap that, it means at the time when the last fight, the battle scene between Wanda
and Agatha.
Yeah, and Agatha.
Oh.
That's the point where he felt the disturbance. He remains felt the disturbance, and
that's actually
know what's gonna happen.
That's actually a good point because Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being.
Yes.
And she can change realities. So this might have a big effect on the sacred timeline itself.
Yep.
So yeah. So with this, He Who Remains became a little bit excited because he doesn't know what's gonna happen next, and leaves Loki and Sylvie to decide his fate. I mean, he says that what's the worst that can happen? Either you take over my life's work, or you plunge a blade to my chest and an infinite amount of me start another war. So with this starts conflict between Sylvie and Loki, with Sylvie wanting to still kill He Who Remains, and Loki realizing what's happening, tries to stop Sylvie, and tells her to consider what Jonathan Majors is referring to, or bargaining with, or offering. And then Sylvie says, "Oh, you just want the throne," something like that. I can't trust you, something like that. There was a conflict of trust with what's happening, and Loki was trying to do a guilt trip on Sylvie, that you don't trust me, I can't be trusted, something like that. Every attack, they start to fight with each other, but Loki was all blocking Sylvie, trying to protect He Who Remains. Being hurt that Loki betrayed her in her final moments, he said that Loki simply just wants a throne, but Loki pleads that this is bigger than both of them. And Sylvie was kind of sad because they're not seeing the same way, and then he pushes Loki back, and then finally, when Sylvie was about to do his final strike on Loki, on He Who Remains, Loki appears in front of her, and drops his blade.
His blade, yeah.
Yeah, and says that he knows what she's going through. He knows where she is, and he doesn't want to hurt her. The thing that we've been waiting for ever since Sylvie appeared, both of them share a passionate kiss. Loki kissing himself. But with this, after they kiss, Sylvie looks at his eyes and tells Loki that she's not him, and she doesn't wish for him to be hurt. Surprisingly, Sylvie opens up a time door and pushes Loki back to the TVA, which
she has the tempad. She has the tempad all along.
Yes,
got the tempad from
she
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, the modified tempad, the advanced tempad,
circular crack.
Yep. But after that, we see Loki surprised and dumbfounded with what just happened. So in the Citadel, Sylvie and He Who Remains are alone, and then this is the final moments. He just said that want to say anything, do you want to beg for your life? Jonathan Major said he could, but he didn't. And then suddenly Sylvie drives his blade to Jonathan Major's chest, which
I think his last words was see you.
See you soon, which is a very ominous phrase. He's not going to, the one who will see them is not He Who Remains himself, but a more dangerous version of him. This is a very, very, this is the changing point, or the catalyst for all the different multiverses in the MCU. Okay, if you didn't watch this and you watched Doctor Strange probably, or like Spider-Man 3, or like What If, you wouldn't know the background on why there were different multiverses. If you watch this is the start. So that's it. We go back to TVA, looking at the monitor and seeing multiple diverging timelines, all branching out, crazily.
There's no more solid timeline.
Exactly.
It's all over the place.
No more solid timeline. It's like a freaking apocalypse, like freaking chaos, which Mobius says there's no turning back now. And B15 interjects with who says anything about turning back. We go back to Loki running around, scampering in the TVA complex, and we hear a familiar voice. We actually see it's actually credited. He's actually credited, but he's not seen explicitly. We hear Casey, and he is turned into a hunter. Right?
Yeah, you just hear his voice.
Yep, we hear his voice. So if a timid, peace-loving analyst became a hunter.
Who doesn't know what a fish is?
Yeah, what doesn't know
became
what a
a
fish
hunter.
is. Yes. What more the other people in the timeline, you know? What more the more vengeful, the more warmongering people in the timeline. So this is something that we really have to consider. So we see Loki running through the to the library, and then encountering B-15 and Mobius, warning them about a more dangerous variant of the one in charge, which we are a bit surprised because Mobius and B-15 don't know about him. You know, he said, "Who are you? What are you saying? What division are you from? You're an analyst."
Yeah, you're an analyst.
Yeah, which surprises Loki. What the fuck is happening? And then he suddenly looks around and notices that on the place of the timekeepers, the 3 timekeeper statues, it was replaced by one big statue of He Who Remains himself. But is that He Who Remains? We don't know. It might be the variant. It might be Immortus. It might be Kang. We don't know for certain.
But there's a clue on the clothes that he wore.
Yep.
And that statue is weird.
The clothes really look reminiscent of Kang the Conqueror.
The Conqueror.
Yes. So yeah, we cut the season. We cut the episode on this scene.
And the note. Yeah.
Yes. So that's it. But of course, we also have a mid-credit scene stating that Loki will be returning on season 2. So, you know, we'll keep our hopes up on what's going to happen to Ravonna Renslayer, to Mobius, to B-15, and to our 2 favorite Loki, Sylvie and our very own Loki. So
and to Mobius.
Yeah, Mobius. I just said Mobius. So yeah. So what do you think, guys?
You've been alluding to the new season and then you just dropped it like that.
What? What do you mean? What do you mean?
There's no anyway. Yeah, where it's going. The big surprise here is there's a new season. This is the first Marvel Cinematic Universe TV series that has its second season. So it's true. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, true. Because the story doesn't end there, and it's gonna continue. You see how powerful the effect of this series is to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because there might be more repercussions, might be more effects on what the TVA, what's going to happen to the TVA, and what our Loki and what Sylvie is going to do in the next the next series or in the next movies. They also mentioned that Loki will be appearing on Doctor Strange. We'll finally be able to figure out what happens next after Loki discovers what happens inside the TVA.
So yeah, that's it.
Yep.
We finished the whole season and we're going to look out for the next one.
Yep. By the way, I just want to add awesome performance by everybody. Tom Hiddleston, Sophia DiMartino, Owen Wilson, Gugu Mbatha-Rao, Wunmi Mosaku, and of course, Jonathan Majors. Impeccable, awesome performance by him on playing He Who Remains. I mean, he's a very different kind of villain. You know, we wouldn't even call him a villain at this time.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But his performance was amazing. Good job to everyone. Good job.
Awesome performance for Miss Minutes as well.
Yes, Tara Strong. Now, hey y'all. That was
like
a
we
very
always
ominous
do,
hey,
for every end, we gave our scores for this one. Are you ready to give out your scores?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Scores. You know what?
What?
I'll hold up on giving my score.
Why?
Season 2 usually is a make or break for any kind of.
Let's do this for the first season first.
No, I will not. If you want to hear I'll share it in my series finale.
I thought you're gonna share it in your Instagram. Okay, Jumps. How about you? Do you have?
I enjoyed it. Like the whole journey is great. This is a great way to showcase Tom Hiddleston's acting skills. Like we only see him do one kind of thing, but yeah, it's a great watch. Like all throughout, like any Marvel franchise or like the other TV series as well. this is one of the top of the three now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a great watch.
This is an amazing series, I tell you. If I'm going to rate it, I'm going to rate it 5 alligators out of 5. Okay.
Oh, perfect one.
Oh, the
Yes.
best Loki.
Yes, the best Loki. This is a really, really good turn. Our favorite villain. The revelations that are being shown in this series has a very big impact to the main cinematic universe. Rarely do we see TV series that have a big impact. The movies, the most notable would probably be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where the agents were the ones who discovered there was something happening in Eastern Europe. Hence, the Avengers attacked the facility of Baron Strucker in the starting moments of Age of Ultron.
Mhm.
You guys familiar with that?
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. So basically, the information of the Hydra base came from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
But didn't we establish already that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is it's not canon, or is it canon now?
it was canon up until a certain point.
Okay.
Yeah. As much as they wanted to make it canon, there were times that it did not follow what was happening in the movies. Like for example, during the last few episodes in the season, or the last series, or last season of the series, the snap did not happen. Yep, in Infinity War, because the final season in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coincided with Avengers Infinity War, but the snap did not happen there. So it wasn't canon anymore at that point. And there's also contradiction with the Darkhold book in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Darkhold in WandaVision. It looked totally different. So yeah. But going back, this series is really, really important if you are a Marvel fan and if you want to, stay up to date with what's happening in the MCU. Performance-wise, everyone did an amazing job. The music, the cinematography, the acting of everybody, the story-wise, it was fleshed out. There was no dull moment. Amazing, guys. So that's it for me. 5 alligators out of 5.
5 alligators, yeah. For me, I'm going to give it a 3.9 out of 5. So the production-wise is very good. Disney, there's no doubt that you're going to get an outstanding TV series like the movie. It felt like a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
A long drag movie. Performance-wise, yeah, very good acting all throughout, including the special effects. Just a little bit etchy about the alligator one, like the one I
the
complained.
CG. The CG. Come
It's
on.
fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
But overall, yeah, it's a good watch. 6 episodes, all around 50 minutes each. Should be a good watch as well. An important watch if you're a Marvel fan, especially for the upcoming Phase 4 movies and other TV series. This will be very important watch.
Yep. Awesome. You guys better watch it. Amazing.
So with this, we are ending our podcast.
Yes, Loki's finally done. Nice, guys. We finally breezed through it. Oh my gosh, I can finally take a breather.
Take a vacation.
Yeah.
Speaking of vacation and breather, I think we're going to do one more movie review and then we'll have our season break. That will be around
We have
4
seasons?
weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
mid-season break.
Yeah.
For our...
Even podcasts have seasons,
I thought you just do it and don't stop.
Well, we can,
So watch
which
out
one are we going to review next?
The last for this season 1 for Juicery will be Black Widow.
Ooh,
okay.
Only for
Okay.
next week.
Yep.
So watch out for that. Another Disney Marvel movie.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna be saying goodbye and thank you for spending time with us once again for this week, and we wrap up the season 1 of Loki. Okay, guys, say
Yay.
goodbye.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jamzi P, and this is the Juicery Podcast. I'm here with Benj and Ryan, signing out. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for the journey.
Yes. It was one heck of a journey. Please like and follow, subscribe, donate. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Peace.